Welcome to Board Game Empire. We're going to be showing you an overview and review of Fantastic Factories base game and the 2 expansions, Subterfuge and Manufactions. So we played this both just as the base game first, so we could see how the base game plays. And then we added the 2 expansions in on our next game. And so we will be telling you what our feelings are, base game versus with the expansions, and a quick overview of how you set up and play the game. So this includes all of the cards and tokens from all 3 expansions. But initially, if you're just playing the base game, you're going to be these decks will be a lot smaller. But you set up your contractor deck, shuffle it, deal out 4. This is your marketplace. Shuffle your blueprint cards, deal out 4. That's your marketplace for the first phase. The second phase is the work phase. But before that, you're going to set up each player, give them a player board, which has their headquarters, generate and mine. This is how you earn resources and cards during the work phase. If you're not playing with the special menu, what are these called? Corporate faction boards, which alters your starting resources and it gives you a very variable player ability. You will start with 1 metal and 2 energy and 4 cards with the base game. However, if you're playing with one of the faction boards, your starting resources is shown here, and then your ability is shown right here on the left. So base game, you wouldn't have any of that. Everyone starts at the same. So your resources are added with I think this comes in manufactions, the vitamins. It's not a resource you can use to produce goods, but the vitamins allow you to increase or decrease your die value, which can be very helpful during the work phase. You're trying to earn the most goods and points, which are on the upper right side of your card. I forget what they call those points. But the goods are what you're trying. This is a 1 and this is a 2 value one. You're trying to earn and produce, and you're using energy, metal, and if you have the expansion, vitamins as resources to help you build, tweak your die rolls, and so it's very easy to set up. You set it up in less than 5 minutes. So again, I said there's 2 phases. You have your first player marker that passes through each round. Unless you have a faction board that allows you to do differently, which I did, you can choose 1 contractor or 1 blueprint during the market phase. The way you get the contractors, as you can see, these are the tools above them. Those are just random. You have to have a blueprint card that matches that symbol in the upper left corner. You need to discard that to be able to hire the contractor. These 3 don't cost any additional other than your card, but in the upper left, some of them have an energy cost that you also have to pay to get that card. So these are instant, basically instant use. You do whatever it says on the bottom, and then you discard them. They're the the Subterfuge expansion. If you take that aspects to your games, you would definitely want to add that expansion when you play this game. Because it has Saboteur, Corporate Spy. It has contractors that basically allow player-to-player interaction. It allows you to steal some of their blueprints. Saboteur allows you to sabotage their blueprints they've already built. They have to use one of their dice during the worker phase to repair. So it costs them basically an action that next turn when you sabotage them. So that one adds more take that to the game. So the manufactions, that one adds 12 corporate faction boards that you could choose from. The vitamin tokens. You do use a different player aid in that one because it adds the the legend icons for the vitamins. 45 more blueprint cards, 20 more contractor cards, and this does have a solo version of this game. The Subterfuge adds 16 more blueprint cards, 18 contractor cards, and the sabotage tokens. And they're double-sided, so if someone places that on you, you'll have to use one of your dice, place on there during the worker phase, and then you'll be able, at the end of the worker phase, you turn it over and put your dice on there, and then at the end of the next market phase, you can remove that so you have it available to use. You can activate its ability during your next worker phase. So during the work phase, there's 3 actions you can do. You can do them in any order. You can do them multiple times. There's no limit. As long as you have the resources to pay for that action, you could do it. This is when you're going to be using your player board. First you roll your dice, and you notice I have white and pink on my board. Pink is my dice, the color dice. The white dice are the ones that you can earn through cards or paying resources when you activate cards that you built. So you'll be earning extra dice quite often during the work phase as the game progresses. That helps get you more actions during the work phase, get you more resources. So you roll your dice, then you decide how you want to use them. Some cards allow you to place dice on them. I had 3. In this one, I have to place a 6, but I get a good, which is worth points at the end of the game, and an energy token. So if I had that one, I would just place a 6 on there. And you can only use these one time during your round unless they state otherwise. There's some where you could put any value dice, and whatever value you put, you get that many resources. So if that one I put a 6, I would get 6 of these. And there's another one, some of them depict certain number dice. That one I was able to get another good, and a vitamin. That one was a really good one. So those vitamins, where those come in handy, you could see after you roll your dice, if you had several vitamin resources, you could manipulate your dice pips to make them match what number you need to activate those cards. And the way you activate the cards is by placing the dice if needed, or by paying a certain resource. This one, if you pay a metal resource, you can get an extra die, so you would just roll it and use it that turn. Some of them activate when you build another card, you get a resource. Some you discard a card to get a certain thing. This one, you have to have 4 matching dice, but you get 2 goods, and you get to re-roll those dice and use them again. That's basically how I won the game. This was an excellent card to have. And having those vitamins really helped me to manipulate the dice to where I could get 4 matching dice, because that's pretty hard to do when you're only rolling like 5 or 6 dice at a time. You have 4 by default, but if you have 5, I had 5 every time at least, because I was able to pay a resource to get an additional one. But still, rolling 4 of a kind out of 5 dice is pretty difficult. So those vitamins really came in handy. There's other blueprints you can build that I think it was called, what were those called? The ones where you had beacons. The beacons, the more you have, the more points you get. There's only 4 beacons. These little dots at the bottom of the card tells you how many of that they are in the deck. So if you have all 4 beacons, that's worth 14 points. So at the end of the game, you're going to be adding up your total goods that you've collected, and this number in the upper right of all the cards you've built in your area. You add up that plus your goods, and that's your total score at the end of the game. The resources and things, they don't count anything at the end of the game. So you want to use those as many as you can. Unless, I will take that back, I had the vault. At the end of the game, you get 1 more point. This card's worth nothing unless you have...
Max, you got 8, I think, in there, though.
Yeah, you could keep 8 resources on here. So, because you do have a limit of 12 of every resource at the end of the round, you have to discard down to 12 of any of these resources, including the vitamins, all of them. So you could keep 8 additional on your vault. At the end of the game, for every 4 you have on here, you get another, this card's worth another point. It's a low scoring game. We were winning, like Anthony won the first game with 24 points. I won the second game with 22. It's not a high scoring game, but there is a lot of strategy and all different ways you can go with this. Or I played a lot of cards that basically did a chain reaction off of each other. The first game. This game, I'm more focused a lot on cards that I was able to spin things to get goods, or so there's many ways you can play it to try to win the game. So I think, did I pretty much explain all of it? Yeah. So what did you think about it?
I really like the components. I like the dual layer tableau board pretty much, and I really appreciate the player aids. The illustrations are easy to see. The font is easy to read. So really cool components, and really like the dice. As far as mechanics, I really like the mechanics. I wish they actually went more further in and to take that aspect of the game. Also, some way to manipulate some more stuff. I like the vault aspect. And I think there was just something else that you could do different things to, but the vault helped pretty much keep resources in there as well. So, but I wish that there was more expansions that came out for this game. I think the 2 that we have is the only 2 that I believe it has come out. So for replayability, high replayability, easy setup, takes 5-10 minutes. There's so many cards that every game is different. There's also different ways you could, pretty much come about and get, different scores. So just high replayability. Overall total, I'm giving this a 7.5 because there is a luck-based factor. Even with all the different things that you can, maneuver and manipulate and, try to get different things. I did have in the last game, I had a bad streak of getting cards, like really bad. And so even to the point where even with my last turn, I had a lot of resources, and yet I could not play a card. And so there is a luck-based factor to it. And I think that would better, if you're able to manipulate a little bit more, it would factor in. So 7.5 out of 10.
So I did not go over the player board. I'll go over that during my review. So I would say base game, of course, I would give a 7. Once we played with the 2 expansions, especially the subterfuge, I think I'm pronouncing that right. That's the one that has to take that aspects to the game. That, to me, it's an 8 with the manufactions. I do feel you do need those 2 expansions to make this game at the most fun. Because honestly, just the base game, we enjoyed it. It was fun, but if you've watched us for a while, we like a little bit more. Take that to our game. So that just brought it up a level. It made it more where you could manipulate more because of the vitamins. And that made it less luck-based. If you collected a lot of vitamins, you can manipulate your dice more. That's like a necessity in a game like this where you have to use dice to collect things. I didn't go over the player boards. This is where you're collecting your energy and your metal and your cards. So, and they do have bonuses. So I put dice on here ahead of time so I could show you. So on this one, it's 1 for 1. 1 dice gets you 1 medal. However, if you have 3 of a kind or 2 of a kind, 2 of a kind gets you 1 extra. So you would get 3 of those there. This one you would get 5 because 3 of a kind gets you 2 extra of the whatever resource. The energy, whatever the value of the dice, is how many you get. So on this particular one, I would get 6 for the dice. Plus, I would get 1 extra for the bonus. I would get 7 energy here. The cards, it's 1 for 1, 1 card for 1 dice. You will run out of blueprint cards a lot. You will need to draw quite a bit of cards because you have to discard a card with the same symbol of the tool to hire a contractor. And when you build a card, you have to discard a card with the same tool in the upper left. So you need a lot of cards to be able to build and hire contractors because you're always going to be discarding one to do that action. That works the same on the bonuses if you had 2 of a kind or 3 of a kind. So the one that adds the vitamins, the manufactions, and that also added the variable player abilities, the what were those called again? The corporate faction boards. This one really helped me a lot because mine allowed me during the market phase. Normally you could only get one card, either contractor or blueprints. I was able to get both. So that really gave me an advantage as well, because as long as I had enough cards in my hand, the blueprints you're just picking up. You don't have to pay anything. You just picking them up, put in your hand. But the contractors, you have to pay a card and a resource if it's listed. So you're going to need a lot of cards in your hand to be able to play a lot of contractors. I also was able to play more contractors than Anthony because of my abilities that I had. So, it just makes it to it where it has a lot more strategy and, like he was saying, a lot more ability to manipulate the luck of the dice, which was very helpful. He wasn't able to get, I was lucky in being able to choose, probably because I was able to choose a card. You know, he had to choose which one. I was able to get both, so it gave me more cards. I was always had probably at least after like the third or fourth round, probably 7 to 8 cards in my hand. So that gives you a lot more flexibility to do those things and build more cards. And so I think the faction he chose and the cards that he had were like a big hindrance for him. But I would definitely give this an 8 with the 2 expansions. You definitely need those 2 expansions. If you don't like take that, I just wouldn't purchase the subterfuge one. But definitely I feel the manufactions is definitely needed in this game because it just adds more depth to it and more a little bit more complexity to the game with these player ability cards. If you're an avid board gamer, you would want more than the base game. But I would highly recommend this game. We will put the link in the description so you can see where to get all 3. I doubt they're very expensive. It's just cards and dice. So, but we will put the link on there. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? So hopefully this helped you to decide whether this is a game you'd want to add to your collection. We had a lot of fun playing it. We played it several times, and we had fun both times playing it. Definitely a little bit more fun with the expansions. Thank you for watching. Please like this video. Feel free to leave a comment or a question. If you're not already subscribed, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thank you again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.